And I was working with Texas Folk Life Resources, a folk arts organization, and we were doing some documentation projects. We were interviewing a lot of musicians, and I had been traveling around the state doing a lot of interviews and research. And actually, I deposited all of my interviews here at the University of UT Pan American in the Border Studies Archive. So if you're ever just wanting to do any kind of research, you want to learn something, you want to listen to some of these voices, there's some, I've deposited those interviews there, and I know that the archive is working on adding more interviews with some of the people that are still there, but there's a lot of folks, some that aren't with us anymore, that are in there. So it's a real interest. I think it's really important to have those stories. So we met and we did an interview with Eva, and I learned a lot of, I think, some really interesting things about her. She told us that she learned to play when she was about 4 years old, and that she comes from a very musical family. And I wanted maybe to sort of just let you tell that a little bit, tell them about your family growing up, and actually Von Army outside of San Antonio, right?
I used to live there,
yeah.
in Army, Texas, but my family, we were born in Circle 81, and I was born in Brighton Street. I'm from Circle 81, San Antonio, Texas, right? That port of San Antonio. Yeah, I started when I was 4, like Cathy mentioned it, and at 6 I was playing professionally with my brothers. My parents took good care of me, and they supported me. And the music runs all over me. I'm not going to stop never until God takes me away from here. Yeah. So when I was like 12 years old, I didn't like to play simple songs, simple polkas. I just like to play difficult songs. And here at polka, that's too, I don't like it. And I'm like that. I'm still the same. I like difficult things, progressive.
So, but you were, you have a very musical family. Your mother taught you songwriting, right?
Yeah, my mom was a songwriter, and she also was a singer. My dad played guitar and also a singer, and he had a high pitch, and I'm like him. I like to sing high. And then my brother David, he learned the bass, and he's great in the bass. He's very progressive.
We should actually, I apologize, I should have introduced all of the band. So that's David Ybarra over on the bass, and Pete Lopez, he's got a snare, but he actually plays a full drum set when they're on stage. And this is Ray Simsick, who plays the bajo sexto, which is an instrument we'll talk a little bit about. Maybe, David, do you want to, since you're part of the family, tell us what it was like, growing up with Eva, or in the family, and who was playing, and was it an issue that she was a woman who was wanting to play an accordion instead of doing something else like sing? Or
well, Cathy, he's the one that got me in the festival with Juan Tejeda, right, David? Juan Tejeda was mentioning who? And
Brown Express.
And Chabela. And he said, what did you tell him?
I told him, Eva.
Well, I have a sister.
Eva.
She's talking about 2 other women who were around back in the 70s, I would say. Lupita Rodilla, who was a blind accordionist. And but I think she passed away.
She passed away? No, she's still.
Oh, she's still
alive.
Oh, okay.
She's alive.
She hasn't played in a very long time. And there was another. So these were 2 women, and they really were the only women out there. And today there are young women who play, but I don't know of any women who've maintained a lifetime of playing the accordion and leading an ensemble. I can't think of too many that are really doing that in this tradition, and it's difficult, right?
It's very difficult for us ladies. Well, never give up. The ladies are capable for, like men, we can do what they do. Not lifting things, we don't have the strength, but playing, we have the, talent, you know, memory and good talent. If you like music, Liliana, you can. She's great too.
Oh, sí.
She plays
La guitarra de golpe.
la guitarra de golpe. So he said, play it, and I say, oh well, play it. I play vihuela, and it's tuned differently. The vihuela is tuned differently, and the guitarra de golpe is tuned differently too. So another positions.
So many years of playing, and then since there's been some recordings on Hacienda Records and Rounder Records, which is the independent record label, it's still around. It does a lot of what we call regional Americana roots music. There are 2 recordings, A Mi San Antonio and Romance Inolvidable. If I can get in here, we can play one at some point if you want. And since Eva has done a lot of festivals, still playing around, and also did a stint for a year as a master accordionist in residence at University of Washington in Seattle.
And then I owe it to you, Cathy. She's the one that got me there. So Cathy, like a sister.
So before we move into the more kind of get into the inside of the music, does anyone have any questions about growing up in this music or learn or her life or anything? Any questions from the audience? So, what would you like to do? You want to play something, or do you first?
You can play a huapango here that Miss Anatolia there wrote.
Yeah, do you want
it's in the other cassette. It's in the
okay. So this is a huapango, but we can maybe we can play it, and then you can show us how you know what's the part. Listen for everyone knows what a huapango is, right?
But this is
came to us from Mexico. It's a rhythm. Yeah, this is a rhythm, and you hear it kind of has this sort of limping feel. Maybe I should let you guys, the drummer, tell me, describe how huapango works rhythmically.
Yeah, it's like an offbeat. It's like a cadence or like a march, but it's got a.
Yeah. And it's because it has, sometimes it feels like a fast.
It's like a walk. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you can hear 3s, but sometimes they go faster, so it switches.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you hear this kind of interesting. That's what makes, and many people describe it as kind of like the galloping of a horse. That's what a lot of people sort of in the region, really, the way they talk about it.
And my friend Ray, he has another strumming. So maybe he can explain.
And he offsets the rhythm.
Yeah, he plays like, play it a little bit, Ray, like you play.
Well, I first learned huapango, I was playing it like a jazz waltz. One of the things about, from what I know, one of the things about a huapango is you have a 2 or 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. But then you have a 3 going against that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have 2 against 3, or 3 against 4. And that gives it part of the bouncy thing, and it sort of takes it all over.
And the guitarrón, it's 1 mute. 1, 2.
Oh, if you
and
were
here
to do
it
the
is
same
1, 2,
thing on
3. Right? And the guitarrón is a little bit different. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like Ray was saying, right? That's what you're doing. You were mentioning just a little while.
So this is A Mi San Antonio. This is one of the
oh, that's very
Latino music, regional music, has been patriarchally dominated. Like, what was some of your experiences with that? Like, when you go to scenarios and present, I mean, what was the reaction from people?
The people when they hear our music.
A woman playing the
really? Well, yeah. At that part, we have more exposure than men. You know, this is a man's world, right? But if they see a woman or a lady singing, and the people like it, you know, pay more attention. And I have, when we went to, you know, performance, New York, Chicago, in the middle of the concert, I had a standing ovation. That, I don't want to be the, you know, showing off, but just to tell you that we have a lot of, you know, the women have a lot of power in station.
Yeah, and you told me a story about when you first, her father was very supportive, which was unusual, and even your mother was a little concerned because she thought that the accordion would be too heavy.
She didn't want me to play the accordion because I don't know if she thought this belonged to a man, but this is the thing she told me: you're gonna hurt your lungs right here. And I said, I want you to play the piano. And she took me for piano lessons. And I said, Mom, I love the piano because I love it too. My dad, secretly, he told me, stick on your accordion. This is your key. No competition. He'll say. So I'm here.
And he
I play both.
you.
I still play the piano. And I said, Mom, I'm going to play the piano and I'm going to play the accordion.
And he always accompanied you in the early days.
Yeah, all the time. And then they got tired. They said, you're on your own. Take care. We already showed him out. And I did.
And David, please jump in anytime, since you're part of the family.
He's proud of me, right? And I'm proud of my family, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good musicians. You've got a nephew who plays.
Nephew, Edie.
Edie.
He used to play with Emilio Navaida. And the other, Rodeo, is my nephew also. Frank Villarreal, Eva Ybarra.
And she also has, many of her songs were given to her by her sister.
My sisters.
Of course, one of the other things I think that's really interesting about Eva is that she stays within the tradition, but she writes all of her own songs, and she really spans the different genres. Boleros, huapangos, polkas, rancheras, cumbias, and she's always trying to kind of take those outside. And we have some examples from recordings, but we could also, if you want to listen to some part,
and even spiritual songs.
Yeah, spiritual songs.
Inspired by my sisters.
And but even though many are hers, but she's received songs from a lot of women, right?
Yeah.
I mean, women who were really inspired and feel like this is someone who could, you know, really give their songs a voice. And I don't think that they would be more open to approaching some of the male, accordionists. So I think that her songs have been really a voice of herself, but also of women in her family too. A lot of her sisters have given her songs, some really good songs. And there was a woman, Gloria Garcia, who was with the group for a while, who was a singer. She passed away, but she was from Mexico, and she wrote a lot of songs that Eva's recorded. So these songs are they're very personal, extremely romantic, a lot of emotion, and which she expresses on stage, I think, quite a bit.
You think so?
I think so. So, if there's not any other questions, we can move into, yeah.
In the span of your whole career, what do you feel was the moment where you were feeling recognized and honored for the work that you've done? Was it early on in your career? Was it towards the middle?
Well, when I think when I was 6 years old, I started to feel that the people like the way I played it, because they cried, and I was so small. Then I told my mom and my dad, do they like the way I play or they don't like it, because they were crying? So they said they admire you. My mom said that you're very little, and they love the way, because you're a very little girl. And I think it started from that age, 6. singing? Or what? A totonico? What are you doing?
Totonico.
Okay. Well, just the style of a simple style right there. And then G.
Los años y ahí encontré mi primer amor. Fueron los desengaños los que mataron a mi ilusión. Ay, corazón, que te vas para nunca volver, que no me digas adiós. Vuelve a alegrar con tu amor el ranchito que fue de mi vida ilusión. Malaya, los ojos verdes o negros que me embrujaron con tu mirada. Si nunca me hubieran visto en causa de mi pena. ranchito que fue de mi vida ilusión. Estarás junto a mí. ¿Qué puede ya importar? Si lo que me hace llorar, lo que te atrás, estar lejos de ti. Sin ti. De clemencia en mi dolor, esperanza de mi amor, rocks in the bass.